The Vrax Dominion had ruled the galactic arm for 23,000 years. Their black crystalline ships emerged from wormholes without warning, appearing above civilizations that had just discovered radio waves or were taking their first tentative steps toward the stars. The Dominion's methodology never varied: orbital bombardment followed by ground troops to hunt survivors, and finally resource extraction that left once vibrant worlds as lifeless husks. Commander Nex Calva, eldest of the Vrax High Command, had overseen countless such cullings. His carapace bore the ceremonial notches of 1,000 conquered species. Today, he studied the holographic display of a small blue-green planet at the edge of an unremarkable spiral arm. "Another primitive world," he chittered to his second-in-command, Drav Morai. "Their electromagnetic emissions suggest pre-FTL technology. Scans indicate large population centers, abundant resources." Drav Morai's sensory appendages twitched with anticipation. "Shall we deploy the standard protocol, Commander?" "Yes, but first let's monitor them for one planetary cycle. Their communications suggest unusual social structures. I want to understand their weaknesses before we strike." The Vrax had perfected the art of terror. Their translucent bodies contained clusters of neural tissue capable of sensing and amplifying fear across species boundaries. They fed on it, converting the biochemical energy of terror into sustenance. The more advanced a species' nervous system, the more delicious their fear. For one Earth year, the Vrax observed humanity. They watched as humans fought each other over resources, territory, and ideology. They noted the species' unusual tenacity, their remarkable adaptability, but ultimately classified them as just another conquest. When the Vrax finally struck, they hit major cities across Earth simultaneously. Mumbai vanished in a flash of atomic fire. New York collapsed under gravitational weapons. Beijing, Lagos, and Sydney fell silent within hours. "Their military response is fragmented," Drav Morai reported. As expected, Commander Nex Calva watched the chaos with satisfaction. "Begin deploying ground forces. I want fear harvesting at maximum efficiency." But as the first Vrax troops touched Earth's surface, something unprecedented occurred. The humans didn't scatter like other species. They didn't cower or surrender. Instead, they rallied. In the ruins of London, Fleet Admiral Tarek Halverson established a command center beneath the remnants of Buckingham Palace. As reports flooded in of similar resistance cells forming worldwide, he addressed the remnants of Earth's military forces through jury-rigged communication systems. "They expected us to break," Halverson said, his voice steady despite the destruction around him. "Every species they've encountered before has broken, but we are not them. We are human. And today, we fight not just for ourselves, but for every civilization these monsters have destroyed." Across the globe, humans adapted with terrifying speed. Within days, they had captured Vrax technology and begun reverse engineering it. Within weeks, they had identified the invaders' key vulnerability. The Vrax neural network faltered when exposed to emotions other than fear. As the first month of occupation ended, Commander Nex Calva received disturbing reports. His fear harvesters were returning damaged, not just physically but psychologically. Something was terribly wrong. The humans, Drav Morai reported, mandibles clicking with uncharacteristic anxiety. "They're not afraid anymore." Nex Calva hunched over the command console, his translucent exoskeleton pulsing with angry crimson light. "Impossible. All sentient species fear death. It is the universal constant upon which our empire is built." "These humans are different," Drav Morai insisted. "When cornered, they don't emit fear, they generate something else, something that poisons our troops." Surveillance footage from Earth's surface flickered across the screens. Humans working together, protecting each other, sacrificing themselves without hesitation. Vrax ground forces surrounded by strange energy fields that seemed to disrupt their neural harvesting capabilities. Nex Calva felt something unfamiliar ripple through his consciousness. Doubt. On Earth, Admiral Halverson's resistance had grown into a global network. Dr. Ekaterina Volkov, once a theoretical physicist at CERN, had made the breakthrough that changed everything. The Vrak's neural structure is essentially a quantum receiver, she explained to the War Council gathered in the underground bunker. They evolved to detect and amplify fear across species boundaries, but when exposed to concentrated emotions, that their biology hasn't adapted to process. Courage, hope, self-sacrifice, their neural pathways overload. Halverson nodded grimly. So we weaponize our humanity. They called it Project Lighthouse. Across the planet, humans gathered in emotion amplification chambers, specially designed spaces where volunteers connected to devices that broadcast their emotional states directly at Vrak's neural frequencies. Not fear, but determination. Not terror, but resolve. The effect was devastating. Vrak's troops began experiencing what their medical officers called empathic shock, their fear processing centers overwhelmed by unfamiliar emotional inputs. Ground operations faltered, then collapsed entirely. In orbit, Nex Calva watched in disbelief as his invasion force requested emergency extraction. "We must escalate," he hissed. "Prepare planet killer protocols." But before the command could be executed, something unprecedented happened. The humans struck back. They had adapted captured Vrak's technology with remarkable speed, combining it with their own innovative approaches. Stealth fighters, invisible to Vrak's sensors, launched from hidden facilities worldwide. They carried weapons, designed specifically to target Vrak's physiology, emotional disruptors that broadcast human courage directly into Vrak's neural networks. As the human counterattack reached the Vrak's command ship, Nex Calva experienced true fear for the first time. In his long existence, not fear of death, but fear of something far worse, understanding. The humans didn't just want to defeat the Vraks, they wanted to change them. Admiral Halverson, leading the assault personally, breached the command deck. Standing before Nex Calva, he didn't draw his weapon. Instead, he activated a device that projected the entire emotional history of humanity directly into the Vrak's commander's consciousness. Love, compassion, sacrifice. The terrible beauty of a species that had endured countless hardships yet never surrendered its capacity for hope. "For thousands of years you fed on fear," Halverson said quietly. "Today that ends." Nex Calva's carapace cracked, light pouring through the fissures. Across the Vrak's fleet, similar transformations occurred as the emotional broadcast reached them all. The Vrak's dominion, terror of the galaxy for 23 millennia, ceased to exist that day. In its place emerged something new, a species freed from its evolutionary prison, capable at last of experiencing the full spectrum of existence. And throughout the galaxy, subjugated worlds received an unexpected message, broadcast on all frequencies. "This is humanity. You are no longer alone. You are no longer afraid. We're coming to help." The age of terror had ended. The age of humanity had begun.